Fake name, fake identity, able to manipulate our country for 14 years. Intelligence Chief Amina Zerbo's voice echoed through the meeting room of the presidential palace. She threw the red file on the table. Ibrahim Traoré looked at the photograph spilling out from the file. The same man, under different names, photographed in the most secret military facilities of his country. This French agent, codenamed Phantom, is behind the latest coup attempt. And right now, he's in Ouagadougou, planning to leave the country within 48 hours. Traoré closed the file and looked at his team with determined eyes. I will capture this man myself. No one will help. No one will know. The 5 people in the meeting room stared in disbelief. Defense Minister General Oumar Diallo leaned forward. Mr. President, this is too dangerous. You are the head of state. You cannot personally participate in such an operation. Traoré raised his hand with his characteristic determined look. General, how many leaders chose to sit safely in their palaces while this man planned coup attempts in our country? I will be different. Intelligence Chief Amina Zerbo gathered the photographs on the table. His current fake identity is Jean-Pierre Dubois. He's known as a luxury businessman. He's staying at the Grand Palace Hotel. Apparently, he's here to inspect French investments in Africa. But in reality, he is Philippe Moreau, the Africa director of the French Foreign Intelligence Service, the head of the team that organized the last coup attempt in Burkina Faso. Traoré stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the lights of Ouagadougou city were shining. When we catch this man, we will expose not just an agent, but the entire French intelligence network. He turned and looked at the map in front of him. Who is he paying inside our country? Which politicians, which soldiers are collaborating with him? We need to find out immediately. Interior Minister Moussa Kaboré cleared his throat. But how will you do it? This man has never been caught in 14 years. He's a master agent. He must be constantly protected. Traoré smiled. Because this time, I will be the hunter. Let's begin. You all know your duties. No one outside this room will know about this operation. 2 hours later, in the lobby of the Grand Palace Hotel, a clean-shaven, well-dressed man approached the reception desk. He carried a small suitcase. He returned the receptionist's smile. Good evening. My name is Michel Laurent. I have a reservation. The receptionist looked at her computer, then smiled. Yes, Mr. Laurent. Everything is ready. We've given you room 512. 5th floor, with a view. This Michel Laurent was actually Ibrahim Traoré, clean-shaven, in a suit, and with a slightly accented French, he looked completely different. As he walked towards the elevator, he heard Amina's voice through the small communication device in his ear. The target is currently in the hotel's restaurant. He's not alone. He met with 3 people. When Traoré entered the room, he opened his suitcase and took out a small listening device. He put on his headphones. Can we hear the target's conversations? Amina's voice came through. No. But our teams have infiltrated the hotel's camera system. We can see his meeting in the restaurant right now. Traoré opened the hotel security camera feed on his cell phone. Philippe Moreau, or Jean-Pierre Dubois with his current fake identity, was sitting at a table in the hotel's luxury restaurant. He was dining with 3 people. Traoré's heart raced. He recognized one of the 3 people at the table. Colonel Jean Sum was one of the most respected officers in the Burkina Faso army. Colonel Sum. So he's involved too, Traoré murmured, with a pained expression on his face. The first night at the hotel, Traoré spent planning the operation. He had to gather information about Phantoms, Philippe Moreau's movements, habits, and the people he met. If he understood Moreau's pattern of movement, he could determine the best time to capture him. When morning came, he went down for hotel breakfast. He carefully examined his surroundings and saw his target. Philippe Moreau was having breakfast alone. He sat at the table next to him and opened a newspaper. It was the first time he was seeing his enemy this close. Moreau, middle-aged, well-dressed, eating his meal with elegant movements. His eyes constantly scanning the surroundings, missing no detail. A true agent. As Traoré watched Moreau from behind his newspaper, the waiter approached. What would you like for breakfast, sir? Traoré answered in French, perfectly controlling his accent. Coffee and croissant, please. For a moment, Moreau looked at Traoré, then continued to focus on his phone. His heart raced. Had Moreau noticed him? Was he suspicious? Or had he just seen him as another hotel guest? Traoré tried to stay calm. This was the most difficult part of the job, not giving yourself away while hunting an agent. After breakfast, Moreau left the lobby. Traoré heard Amina's voice through his earpiece. A car is waiting for him. Black Mercedes. The driver is French embassy personnel. Traoré made his decision immediately. Follow him, but keep your distance. I'll be right behind you. Following Moreau's car wasn't difficult. In Ouagadougou's traffic, Amina's team provided constant information about the car's direction. Moreau's car stopped at a luxury villa in the wealthy district of the city. Traoré got out of the taxi he was following in, put on his sunglasses, and started watching from a distance. There was a meeting at the villa. After Moreau, 5 more people arrived. Who were they? Traoré asked Amina through his earpiece. Identities confirmed, said Amina. 3 of them are well-known businessmen in Burkina Faso. The other 2, one is Colonel Some, and the other. My God. Who is the other one? Asked Traoré impatiently. Amina's voice was trembling. Finance Minister Karim Sawadogo. Traoré now had a better understanding of how deep the intelligence network in Burkina Faso went. One of the most powerful politicians in his country was secretly meeting with France's agent. We need to listen to this meeting, he said. We need to know what they're talking about. Amina answered with a determined voice, we're already working on it. Our teams are trying to place listening devices near the villa. But an hour later, bad news came. We couldn't do it. The villa is very well guarded. There are electronic jammers. We can't hear what they're saying. Traoré knew they had missed this opportunity. Without knowing what was discussed, they couldn't fully understand Moreau's plans. The meeting lasted 3 hours. Finally, the participants left. Traoré heard Amina through his earpiece. Moreau is returning to the hotel. At the hotel, Traoré had to plan his next move. He asked the intelligence chief through his earpiece, can we get into Moreau's room? We need to check his documents, his computer. Amina answered, very risky. We have our people among the hotel staff, but Moreau might have his too. Plus, his room is probably protected with alarm systems. Traoré made his decision, I'll go in. Alone. If I'm caught, they'll think I'm just a simple thief. They won't know my identity. Amina objected anxiously, Mr. President, this is madness. You are the leader of Burkina Faso. You cannot take this risk. Traoré was determined, that's exactly why I should take it, Amina. My country, my responsibility. I cannot put others in danger. At midnight, the corridors were quiet. Traoré, dressed in hotel staff uniform, with a cleaning cart, approached Moreau's room. Amina had provided the electronic card to open the door. The door opened, and Traoré entered. Moreau wasn't there. The information was that he had gone to a nightclub. Traoré quickly began searching the room. Bag, closet, phone charger, he found nothing. Then he looked under the bed and saw a small bag. He carefully pulled it out and opened it. Inside was a flash drive, documents, and a gun. Among the documents was a map, a list of names and dates. Amina, I found something very important, he said into the earpiece. He quickly started taking pictures of the documents. Just then, footsteps were heard from the corridor. The door lock was being tried. Traoré froze. Moreau had returned earlier than expected. He quickly put the bag back in its place, grabbed the cleaning cart, and hid in the bathroom. The door opened and Moreau entered. He wasn't alone. He was talking to a woman. Traoré watched through the slightly open bathroom door. The woman looked Burkinab, but she was speaking in French. Will it be confirmed tomorrow? The woman was asking. Moreau answered, yes. Colonel Some will be ready tomorrow afternoon. We'll make our move during Traoré's visit to the northern border. His assistants and security team will be neutralized. The president will have an accident. Traoré's blood froze. This was their plan, to kill him. And only a small team knew about his northern border visit. So there were more information leaks. Moreau and the woman continued talking, discussing the details of the coup plans. Traoré listened carefully to every word. He learned the key names, dates, locations. Finally, the woman left the room, and Moreau went to take a shower. It was time for Traoré to escape. He slowly exited the bathroom and moved towards the door. At that moment, Moreau's cell phone rang. Traoré froze in place. Would Moreau come out of the shower? The phone continued ringing, then stopped. Traoré took a deep breath and left the room. When he returned to his own room, he called Amina. I've learned about the coup plan. They think I'll be moving tomorrow. But we'll move before them. The next morning, Traoré went to the reception and checked out of the hotel. His plan was ready. Moreau thought Traoré would be going to the northern border. However, Traoré had spread false information. The traitor colonel some would be waiting in vain on the fake route. The real plan was to catch Moreau at the airport. According to Amina's information, Moreau was planning to return to France by a private jet in the afternoon. He thinks he has accomplished all his plans. If we let him board the plane, he'll escape with all his evidence, said Amina. Traoré replied, no, he will not leave the airport. In the afternoon, Traoré, in civilian clothes, took position with a small airport security team. They were watching the VIP terminal of Ouagadougou International Airport. Target approaching, said Amina through the earpiece. Black Mercedes, 2 escort cars. Inside are Moreau and his 4 guards. Traoré checked his gun. Everyone be ready. But no one moves without my signal. I want him alive. The Mercedes stopped at the airport VIP gate. Moreau and his guards got out of the car. They began walking towards the stairs of the private jet. Moreau was confident, smiling. He thought his plan had been successfully completed. Just as he approached the stairs of the plane, Traoré gave the order over the radio, now. Suddenly, armed soldiers appeared from all over the airport. Moreau and his guards looked around in confusion. Don't move, shouted Traoré, pointing his gun as he stepped forward. Philippe Moreau, in the name of the Republic of Burkina Faso, you are under arrest for espionage and planning a coup. The shocked expression on Moreau's face slowly turned into recognition. Traoré, he murmured. You, weren't you Michel Laurent? Traoré stepped forward. Yes, 2 can play the same game, Phantom. Your 14-year career ends here. Moreau's guards reached for their weapons, but they were surrounded from all sides. Realizing that resistance was futile, Moreau raised his hands. You Africans always make the same mistake, he said with a cold smile. You cannot win against France. Even if I'm gone, others will come in my place. Traoré approached him. Maybe, but they will share your fate. Burkina Faso is no longer a sleeping giant. We are awakening, and we will shape our own destiny. Moreau and his team were arrested. Traoré examined the documents found in Moreau's car and plane. The files detailed France's operations not only in Burkina Faso but throughout West Africa. Names, dates, bank accounts, the dark secrets of the French Secret Service were now exposed. Returning to his palace, Traoré convened a security meeting. All the traitors who had been working with the French, including Finance Minister Karim Sawadogo and Colonel Sum, had been arrested. Today, we brought down not just an agent, but a network that has been harming our country for years, Traoré told his team. This is a big step for our independence. Amina Zerbo handed him a file. The information we obtained from Moreau is valuable not only for us but for all of Africa. Mali, Niger, Senegal, all are under the influence of French spies. We should share this information with them. Traoré nodded thoughtfully. We will share it. We must work together for Africa's liberation. Not just one country, but the entire continent must be free. 2 days later, on Burkina Faso national television, Traoré revealed the truth to the people. Dear citizens, in the last 48 hours, we conducted a critical operation for our country's independence. We exposed a French intelligence network that has been directing our country, exploiting our resources, and organizing coups for years. The screen showed images of the arrested Moreau and his collaborators. This operation shows that Burkina Faso is now charting its own destiny. The remnants of the colonial era are being cleaned up. We are paying the price for our independence, but our future is in our hands. As he concluded his speech, Traoré added, the movement that started in Burkina Faso today will spread throughout Africa. Our resources, our lands, and our destiny now belong to us. And no foreign power can change that. The world press was buzzing with Traoré's bold move and the capture of Phantom. France officially tried to deny the incident, but the evidence was undeniable. Other African countries sent messages appreciating Burkina Faso's leadership. A few weeks later, at the African Union meeting, Traoré addressed other leaders, our struggle continues. One agent, one operation is not enough. For Africa's true independence, we must secure our economic and political freedom. Our resources should be used for the welfare of our own people, not others. In the meeting hall, other African leaders stood up and applauded Traoré. A new era was beginning, Africa's era of true freedom. And one of the pioneers of this era was Ibrahim Traoré, who had risked his own life to capture a French agent who had been playing with his country's fate for 48 hours.